if you study your family and you share that with me, I learn. There are all different kinds of wonderful stories. Huguenots were Protestants in Europe, and when Europe was run by Catholics, they were sought out and killed. My grandparent came over here because of the Irish famine. You learn from hard times. My great-grandfather, who was in the Civil War, stories.
Today I'm going to be talking to a fellow named Bill Hayes. Bill, you have not met me prior to
That's
today.
true, not before today.
So just let me tell you real quick what I do know about Bill Hayes. Bill is the Ohio Congressional District Representative, right?
Don't know about that.
I looked up Bill Hayes on the internet. It says you're right there, Bill Hayes, Ohio Congressional Representative.
Okay, well, that could be a Bill Hayes. That's not this Bill Hayes.
It's not?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Clearly I didn't make that mistake. It was my attempt at levity. So there is another Bill Hayes out there.
Okay. Okay, there are a few.
And he's a hybrid, but on the internet, you do, if I type in Bill Hayes on the internet, right?
Yeah.
You do pop up as numero uno, by the way. You type in Tom Wilson, I'm not anywhere.
Okay.
So congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
But let's have a conversation. Can I ask you when you were born?
June 5th, 1925.
How old are you?
87.
No way.
I'll be 88. Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
I want to see your driver's license.
Okay,
right now.
okay. Yeah. June 5th, I'll be
88.
88, yeah.
Wow. You're 88.
Yeah. Well,
You've seen a lot. You've seen a lot of sunrises.
Seen a lot of change,
So,
as
you've
I
seen
said.
a lot of sunsets and
Yeah.
sunrises.
They were still delivering milk by little carts that were drawn by horses.
Times have changed.
Everything has changed.
Yeah. And you wonder how much
Everything.
they're going to change again, like for someone like me in the future. What's coming,
Yeah.
and how much. Maybe this radical change that's taking place is over. Maybe that's, because we can't really fly much different. We can't really, how much faster can we go?
Could go to the moon.
Well, we did that.
I mean, you and I could go to the moon.
As individuals?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose, yeah, you could have
This
that
could
kind
be
of travel.
space travel.
Right. Well, there's going to be SpaceX. When do you remember, like, the first plane flying overhead?
Well, it was a big thing one day when a Sikorsky helicopter flew overhead. That was when I was just a boy.
You're very lucid and vibrant for someone your age. I mean, let's just face it. That after a while, time marches on, right?
I'm happy about that.
Give me the secret. What's up?
Have a nice relationship is very helpful. I mean, I guess it's not for everybody, but to me, it's so important. It's so meaningful to have somebody that you can share your sweet moments with.
What?
Of course, you'll share your sad moments also.
Right.
But
there's down times in life.
there are down times.
And those are the times I think that age us most.
They also teach us. Tom, you don't learn from happy days. You learn from hard times.
Yeah.
That's when you learn.
That's true. That's true. But you don't always get through, and this is where the relationship thing comes in, because it's hard to get through hard times alone.
Yeah.
And when you have a solid relationship,
Sharing them is good.
Yeah. You've had success in a field that maybe 1% of the people that pursue it find success.
That's true.
So I've discovered that in that field, and what would you call your field?
Entertainment.
Okay. In the field of entertainment, especially in the field of entertainment, everybody has that moment in time where they say, that's my break.
Right.
And so, did you have a moment like that? And if you did, can you tell me a little bit about it?
I had a few.
Tell me about the first one that you can remember, the earliest one you can remember.
My young brother Phil had written to the stage manager of Carousel, which had just finished its long run in New York and starting a national tour in Chicago, Schubert Theater. And he wrote and said, I'd like to audition for you if you need a tenor replacement when you get here. Well, he got a card saying, okay, come to the Schubert Theater Tuesday, 2 o'clock, prepared to sing a song. Well, Phil had a strep throat when I got home. He couldn't talk. He couldn't make a sound. So I took the card and I scratched Phil off and put Bill on and took the card, took a piece of my dad's music and went to the Schubert Theater at 2 o'clock. And I sang for him, sang I Love Life.
No, hold on a second.
Yeah,
We're going to continue with the story.
Okay.
You had to be a nervous wreck.
Yeah. Well, I had sung in glee clubs in school.
Were you confident
I had
that
performed in school in plays and musicals and things like that.
Okay, all right.
I had sung in a quartet a lot of barbershop quartet.
Okay.
And as I say, I cracked on the high A, but I fit the costume, and I replaced Johnny Henson. That was an eye opener. You could get paid for singing, for acting, for having fun. Yeah, you can. And I thought, okay, I think that's what I'd like to do. I sang at the Court Funeral Home in Homewood, Illinois. I sang on radio. And I sang in a temple in the south side of Chicago, 55th Street, Beth Am Temple. I sang in a jazz quintet in a new television series. Television was brand new, 1948.
Give me a simple onesie-twosie lesson right now about something that might improve my ability to sing while I'm singing.
Well, it's difficult because of the change. You see, today, almost all singing is done with a microphone. You don't have to project.
Yeah.
You can sing very softly, and it's the microphone projects the sound. When I was studying voice, opera singers will sing maybe for 3 hours, almost nonstop, with a sound that carries from here to way back at the back of the theater. Well, if you're Bob Dylan, you don't have to do that.
Right.
You got a microphone and you got your harmonica and you got your guitar, and if the sound goes into the microphone, that's all you need. B.B. King doesn't need to sing like an opera singer.
Okay. Good point.
Leon Russell doesn't need to sing like an opera singer. Doesn't need to sing with a belting sound or a beautiful sound. They sing whatever is right for the song.
Right.
Leon Russell, I've been so many places in my life and time. He got that gravelly, wonderful voice that fits that. Why would I want to change that and have him sing, I've been so many places in, I don't know, a different sound?
Yeah.
No.
You make a good point. You make a really good point.
So learning, I never stop learning.
Well, I think that's the key.
I go to tap class every day. Every week.
What?
Twice a week, yeah.
You doing tap?
Yeah. Yeah. I always wanted to tap. When I was a kid in Harvey, Winifred Seidel was the tap teacher, and I wanted to go learn, but all the people in the tap class were girls.
Oh, yeah. What's wrong with that?
And I thought, I just can't face that. Already I'm playing fiddle.
Yeah.
It's hard to carry my fiddle case and singing, and it's already, and to go to a tap class where it's all girls,
back
it's
in that day.
Just too much. But I always wanted to. I learned a few steps down through the years. I've done a lot of musicals and a lot of plays and a lot of tap here and there in those shows. Played George M. We did 17 song and dance numbers with a lot of tap. Tree Grows in Brooklyn, there was tap in that. Every once in a while there'd be a show with tap in it, but I never really learned the rudiments of tapping. So when I got to be 65, I started going to tap class.
There you go.
And
Never too late. But you knew it. You had a foundation. But still,
yeah.
And in that, taking the class and learning the fundamentals and the basics, did that improve your tap?
Oh yeah, balance is crucial. Yes.
See, I'm a sports fan.
Yeah.
You like sports at all?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, I'm a big sports fan, and to me, one of the every sport has its like different beauty, right?
Yeah.
But one thing that every sport has, I don't care if it's golf or football or whatever, is balance.
Oh yes.
Balance is important. I don't care what you're doing.
The guys who can play good hot corner in baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right there. Oh
Right.
man, they're so good.
Yeah, and then, and when you're hitting in baseball, you're just standing there, right? But until that explosion occurs, when you're really going to strike the ball, even when you start and even when you finish a swing, it's balanced the whole time.
Yeah.
Although some guys can be pretty wacky with their swings.
And imagine the eye control of those really good hitters who can follow the ball right to here,
Yeah.
and they know right where it is.
Yeah.
And
they hit it on the Cadillac. Have you ever heard of that
yeah,
phrase?
yeah,
The Cadillac?
yeah,
You have?
yeah.
What is it?
The sweet spot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, you have. Well, not a lot of people have heard the Cadillac. I guess.
I heard it somewhere.
Are you a Cub fan?
I was a Cub fan for many years. I have probably I know more about the Dodgers now because I've been living here.
Mm-hmm.
But I grew up a Cub fan.
I did too.
Yeah.
And you know what my favorite thing about the Cubs, what people say about Cub fans?
What?
Since the last time the Cubs won the World Series,
Yep.
Halley's Comet has been by twice.
Yeah.
That's been a long time.
1908.
1908. But
they
it was a
won-
repeat. It was a repeat year. My father passed away when I was 40, and I never really played an instrument. And I picked up a guitar
Yes. And started.
and started.
Oh, good for
at,
you.
At 40, yeah. And now I'm 53 and been playing 13 years, and okay. I can actually play guitar a little bit now. But the idea that I learned,
Bravo.
the lesson there for me was that it's never too late to learn.
Absolutely.
No, you're 88 years old.
Yeah.
What are you learning?
Well, I study Italian all the time, just on my own. I have always wanted to write, and
What did you learn about writing? It's not easy, is it?
no, it's not easy, and you got to do it every day. One thing Oscar Hammerstein said to me one day was, "I write every day." Now here's a guy who's had 50 years of success, many shows on Broadway, many films. He said, "I write every day, 9 to 1, every day.
9 to 1.
I go in a room by myself, and there's no telephone in there, and the door's locked,
Right.
and I'm in there, and I write."
You used this trip to London to ignite your imagination to write a book.
That's right.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Do you use history in this too?
Oh yeah, there's a
So-
lot of history in there.
Oh, okay. I love that. Yeah.
It starts in 1803 and goes through what they call the Regency period. Okay, well, that includes Napoleon, Duke of Wellington. Sarah Siddons was the biggest actress of the time. Joseph Grimaldi was a famous clown who really started the clown makeup and the clown attire that we see today.
Oh,
Yeah.
he started the kind of
Yeah, clowning. He
Really?
did. Yeah,
Joseph Grimaldi.
Grimaldi.
I like the topic of clowns.
Okay.
All right. So Joseph Grimaldi.
Grimaldi, yeah. He was in a show at the Sadler's Wells Theater, which was very low class, but he was like a star of the show. And our leading character, Elizabeth Trumpet, that's her first job. And so
That's neat.
the thing that we've used in here is the man who wrote the show and produced it and owned the theater is real, and all the cast that she works with, they're all real,
Oh, nice.
and including Joseph Grimaldi. There was another man also in there named Belzoni, Giovanni Belzoni,
A real guy.
a real person who was 6'8". He was a giant at that time.
Oh, yeah.
Today, you got a lot of basketball players. You
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think of 6'8" as that tall, but then he was a giant. He arrived in London, and that was his first job at that theater, and he was used as a strongman. He didn't like being a performer, but he did want to do something worthwhile. It was Giovanni Belzoni who discovered the temple of Ramses II, who discovered the entrance to the second pyramid, who discovered the tomb of Seti I.
Was he an anthropologist or something, or what was
He just, I don't know. He could figure out where things were, and he had the gumption to and the strength to.
Now, when
to
you put
do
this
them.
guy in your book,
Yeah,
did you know even before? Did you discover him on your journey, or did you know who this guy was before?
we knew who he was before,
Yeah.
and we said we want him to be a part of our novel.
Okay.
Well, we put all these timelines of real people together,
Mm-hmm.
and then hung the creation, the fiction, on the girl who weaves through all these people, and it was great fun. Great
That's
fun
cool.
to write. So that was quite a learning process.
Is this my copy?
Like sands through the hourglass, and it's a memoir. It talks about love of family, love of craft, love of each other, love of relationship.
If you got something,
I've got one.
go ahead.
When I was 65, you talk about learning new things.
Yeah.
I decided I was going to get a doctorate in education. My basic premise is that the study of family history in a class is very beneficial and should be included in the curriculum several times between kindergarten and 12th grade.
I couldn't agree more.
If you study your family and you share that with me, I learn. If I study my family, I learn from my study, of course. But if I share it with you, you learn. My grandparent came over here because of the Irish famine, the potato famine. My ancestor was a Huguenot, and
A Huguenot.
he was chased. Huguenots were Protestants in Europe, and when Europe was run by Catholics, they were
Oh, okay.
sought out and killed.
And it's so funny you bring this up because I wanted to talk about something, and it's exactly along this point, almost exactly. Okay, here's a new thing I've been working on. Your last name is Hayes.
Yeah,
Okay, so you have the heritage of the Hayeses.
yeah,
Many I don't know if you do, but many people take a lot of pride in their name and
Right.
who they are.
yeah.
Well, it just occurred to me recently that we're many names, but we really are equally, you're a Hayes, but you're equally three other names besides a Hayes.
Oh, many,
Because many,
Not
but
just
I'm
three.
not talking equally.
many.
There are many, but that's not
Got
equal.
three other names.
I'm talking
just as-
quarter name, right?
That's right.
You're just a quarter Hayes. And it's always struck me that you would have so much pride in 1/4 of your name when you really are four parts.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah,
Now here's what I want to do. I want to go through your dad's name was Hayes.
yeah.
So now we got three other grandparents, and I want to know what their names are.
Okay.
So dad's mom, do you remember her maiden name?
Miller.
So you're a Hayes, and you're 1/4 Hayes, 1/4 Miller.
Yeah. My mother was a Mitchell. That
So you
was
got a Miller
her
and a Mitchell.
maiden name, and her mother's name was Schieffer.
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 So let's go through the four heritages of that. Hayes is generally what's the heritage on a Hayes? In a nutshell.
You know, William the Conqueror.
Yeah, a little bit.
William the Conqueror was of Viking ancestry that moved to Normandy in France. Norsemen, the people from the north became Normandy, and William the Conqueror was a Norman. He conquered England. One of the people that came across with him from France was named De la Haye. And that person, as far as I know, was the beginning of the Hayes family. The Millers,
Now this would be the Miller would be dad's mom.
that's right,
Okay.
that's right, my paternal grandmother.
Correct, right.
The Millers came from Scotland.
That's two. So then you got Mitchell.
Yes, Mitchell
That's
came
your
from
mom's-
England, and Schieffer came from Germany. Where did you come from? Where do the Wilsons
Well,
come from?
my four names would be, right? I got Wilson.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about Wilson is on my grandfather's birth certificate, it says father unknown.
Oh.
And there's a rumor that he was kind of maybe a bastard child
Yeah.
and not really a Wilson, but a traveling salesman. So who knows if that's even my
Yeah,
blood, right?
right.
It's hard to know. Which I guess is why sometimes you would want to follow the female side name,
well,
because that's not going to, a woman can have a child, right? And it may not be the man's
yes, possible.
kid, right? So,
All
but it's
along.
always the woman's child.
That's right.
So I guess maybe measuring the woman's lineage would be
Yeah,
safer.
Good idea.
But it just occurred to me, maybe people shouldn't take so much pride in their 1/4 of their lineage when, they're 4 parts.
I agree. Well, I believe in the study of family. My great-great-great-grandfather was born in England, and about age 9, his father was in debt. He bound him to a sailor to pay off a debt. Not very nice.
No. Times were different then, but that's still not very nice.
7 years. If you work for this sailor for 7 years, then I don't owe any money. So he worked on the ship for about a year and a half or 2 years, and then he jumped ship. I had one ancestor named John Ford. This is in the 1600s. There was a civil war in England in the 1640s, and they were coming close to where he lived, so he sent his wife and young son over to Ireland so that they would not be in the way of the war coming along, the battles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, over in Ireland, the boy, 9, 10, 11-year-old boy, went down to look at the ships in the harbor, and a sailor came along and said, "Hey, you want to see the ship out there?" Went out there, and he was kidnapped.
To work.
He was kidnapped to come over to the United States, where he was sold.
Oh. Really?
He was sold. My great-grandfather, who was in the Civil War, John Theodore Schieffer was his name. He was a private on the north side in our Civil War. His young brother William was a private on the south side.
Tough.
Bad. He died in a Confederate prison. So,
Man, you really have got the detail out of these stories.
Yeah, good stuff.
Well, I just, I want to say thank you for inviting me into your home and letting me talk to you. That's a complete stranger.
Well, you're welcome.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I have enjoyed it.
And maybe someday I'll come back without a camera and we'll
Okay.
talk about girls and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a wrap.